This is Margin Machine, where we follow the money behind AI. Peter Thiel's venture fund just led a $220 million bet on a company that makes collars for cows. Not software. Not chips. Cow collars. And that bet values the company at $2 billion, double what it was worth just 9 months earlier. Here's the thing, this might actually be one of the smartest AI business models we've ever covered on this channel. Because hidden inside this strange little product is a revenue machine that most Silicon Valley software companies would kill for, recurring subscription income, a physical moat competitors can't copy overnight, and a customer base that almost never cancels. By the end of this video, you'll understand why some of the sharpest investors in the world are ignoring flashy chatbots and pouring money into mud, grass, and livestock instead. But first, you need to understand the problem this company solved, because it's a problem farmers have been throwing money at for literally thousands of years. The company is called Halter, and it started in New Zealand. The problem it attacks is fencing. If you run a cattle farm, fences are your life. They decide where your animals graze, how you rotate them between paddocks, and how much grass gets eaten versus wasted. Physical fencing is brutally expensive to build and maintain: posts, wire, gates, repairs after every storm. And moving cattle between paddocks eats hours of labor every single day. Someone has to physically go out, open gates, herd the animals, close gates, over and over, in all weather. Ranchers have accepted this cost forever because there was no alternative. Grass is the cheapest feed on earth, but only if you can control exactly where and when your herd eats it. Get rotation right and your land produces dramatically more. Get it wrong and you're burning money on supplemental feed. So the real product here was never a collar. It was control, turning thousands of acres of land into something a farmer can manage from a phone. And the way Halter delivers that control is genuinely clever. Each cow wears a solar-powered smart collar that talks to towers installed around the farm. The farmer opens an app and draws a fence on a map, just drags a line with a finger. That line becomes a virtual boundary. When a cow walks toward it, the collar plays a sound cue. If she keeps going, she gets a gentle vibration pulse. Cows are smart, they learn the audio cue within days and simply turn around before anything else happens. No wire. No posts. Nothing physical at all. But it goes further, because these collars are packed with sensors. The system watches how each animal moves, eats, and rests. It can flag a cow that might be sick or coming into heat before a human would ever notice. Shifting the whole herd to fresh grass becomes a few taps on a screen instead of hours on a quad bike. Halter says it has sold around 1 million collars, serving more than 2,000 farms across New Zealand, Australia, and the US. But the collar itself is not where the money is. And this is where the story gets interesting for anyone who cares about business models. Here's the part nobody mentions in the headlines: Halter doesn't really sell collars. It sells subscriptions. Farmers pay a one-time fee for the tower infrastructure, then a recurring subscription per cow, reportedly in the range of $6 to $10 per cow per month depending on herd size and market. Stop and think about what that means. A single 1,000-cow ranch could represent roughly $100,000 in recurring revenue every year, from one customer. Across 1 million collars, industry estimates put Halter's annual recurring revenue somewhere between $70 and $100 million, and to be clear, that's an outside estimate, not an official number. This is the hardware-as-a-service playbook. The physical device is just the delivery vehicle for a software subscription that never ends. Pure hardware companies get paid once and then pray you upgrade someday. Halter gets paid every month, per animal, forever. And unlike a productivity app that someone cancels when budgets tighten, this subscription is wired directly into how the farm operates. Rip it out, and you're back to rebuilding physical fences and hiring labor. The switching cost isn't an inconvenience, it's a construction project. Now let's talk about why Founders Fund doubled this company's valuation to $2 billion in under a year. First, the physical moat. Every farm that installs Halter's towers becomes infrastructure that a competitor has to physically replace to win that customer. Software rivals can copy features in a weekend. Nobody copies towers standing on 2,000 farms in a weekend. Second, the data moat. Halter's system has now logged years of behavioral data from hundreds of thousands of animals: how healthy cows move, how sick cows move, how grazing patterns affect milk and weight. Every additional collar makes the AI models better, and better models make the product harder to compete with. That's a flywheel. Third, and this is the bigger picture, this deal fits exactly where venture money is flowing in 2026. Global startup funding hit roughly $510 billion in the first half of the year, a record, and investors have become ruthless about one question: does your AI control a real-world workflow? Chatbot wrappers are struggling to raise. But AI that touches physical operations, farms, factories, defense, logistics, is absorbing capital at a pace we've never seen. Halter is a pure play on that shift. Now, before you assume this is a guaranteed win, let's follow the money in the other direction, because there are real risks here. Hardware is hard. Every collar has to survive rain, mud, sun, and a 700-kilogram animal scratching itself against a tree. Manufacturing, shipping, and replacing physical devices burns cash in a way software never does, and Halter is about to make its largest hiring push ever, around 200 people, which pushes costs up before the new markets pay off. Competition is real too. Established agricultural giants and other virtual fencing startups are chasing the same pastures, and at least one rival has already been scooped up by a major animal health corporation. There's also the animal welfare question. Halter insists the collars rely overwhelmingly on sound cues and mild vibration, and early research has been broadly supportive, but regulators in some countries have historically been cautious about this category. Virtual fencing was not even legal everywhere until fairly recently. And finally, farmers are famously hard customers, skeptical, price-sensitive, and slow to adopt. Winning 2,000 farms is impressive. The world has millions. The distance between a great product and a category monopoly is enormous, and that's exactly what the next few years will decide. So here's the lesson margin machine viewers should take from this. The biggest AI fortunes of this cycle may not come from building a better chatbot. They may come from taking the most boring, ancient, unglamorous industries on Earth, and wrapping them in sensors, subscriptions, and software. Halter took fencing, a technology that hasn't fundamentally changed since barbed wire in the 1870s, and turned it into recurring revenue with an AI moat. That's the pattern: find a physical workflow people have paid for since forever, replace it with a service they pay for monthly, and let the data compound. Peter Thiel's fund looked at a cow collar company and saw exactly that, which is why the valuation doubled to $2 billion in 9 months. If you're enjoying these follow the money breakdowns, subscribe so you don't miss the next one. We publish these case studies daily. But here's the question that kept bugging me while researching this video: Halter has never revealed what it actually costs to build each collar, and that one hidden number decides whether this whole empire prints money or quietly bleeds it. If you want to know whether Halter makes or loses money on every single collar it ships, click the video on your screen right now.